All right, I think we got the thumbs up.
Yeah, we did. We did get the thumbs up.
All right.
Sick.
Highly anticipated. We're finally.
It's true. It's happening. This
Finally
hyped
doing
up
this.
podcast that I've been hyping up for like 3 weeks mainly is actually happening now.
All right, so yeah, there's going to be probably like 5, 6, 7, maybe 12 people watch
Yeah,
this. That
yeah,
would be,
probably not a lot of people.
That would be good.
Yeah, but hopefully some people. That would be fantastic.
All right, so let's do it. Why are we here, Levi?
Well, we're doing a podcast recently. Also, a little, I guess, intro. We're a podcast of 922, the youth ministry at Calvary Baptist. But we tend to run out of time on our Sunday mornings for like small group questions and going more in depth with what we talk about. So like for right now, the main goal, at least one of the main goals, is to kind of go a little more in depth on that, but also to give like an outlet for students to ask questions anonymously.
Okay.
So that way they can come in and be like, hey, like I have this question. I don't want them to know it's me, but I want to know the answer to it. So, yeah.
Cool, yeah, that's kind of my thought too. I was like, when you guys came up with this idea, I thought it was great because I did notice that on Sundays. So my name's Andy. I'm the one that does, most of the time I'll do the teaching on Sundays. And I've noticed kind of what Levi was saying. We do our normal process. We have some games as the students kind of come in. We'll all see, we'll do announcements. Kids will have some donuts. I'll do a quick message. And then usually we'd give them, anywhere from 10, 15 minutes to get into small groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's supposed to be like 10 to 15 minutes to like have a conversation, it be over, and then we end up going to like 20 minutes. So it's like there was one time we're supposed to end at like 12, right? We ended up at like 12:20 one day, and that was like the most awkward situation afterwards because we were like, we could keep going.
Yeah. Well, and it's awful too because, you guys have already cut out the introductions. In the small group usually, all right, tell me your name, where you're from, what grade, what school, so you already cut that out. Then you've got parents like peeking their heads in like, hey, it's my kid, we got lunch to go to, like, with my kid. But I noticed this too, that you guys were still in depth, like in deep conversation, which,
Yeah.
as a leader, I'd love to see. But it's like, what do you do? Because
Yeah.
we'd shorten the game time. I would try, I'd shorten my message. You can't shorten it too much because you don't really have much to talk about. But then you try to give you guys as much time to talk about.
Yeah.
And, ran into the problems that you're kind of describing. So.
Yeah, and even when you and it makes it difficult when you try and structure it so people can actually listen and give the opportunity to answer and ask questions, because you prepared, and with the 2 times I did it, I prepared questions. I didn't really hand them out, but I asked them to the group.
Right.
But then when you go up, you have a paper with questions, which helps the conversation a ton, but then we can never even make it through half the questions. So it's dang. And there's only 7 questions on there. So it's not like there's a lot of questions. But we go in depth
I limit them at 8. There's more than 8.
Yeah, and so we can hardly go through 4 of them in 15 minutes, and then we go over another 10. So 25 minutes, and we can only cover 4. And that's a great conversation, but I guess the main purpose of this podcast would be to introduce answering those questions and addressing them here.
Yeah.
So that way we're not just wasting that conversation, or we're not wasting that knowledge that could be there.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And especially, because like I said, it's so great to see. You don't want to just cut that off and say, hey, we're in this. The students are starting to conceptualize some of the things, and they're seeing it, and you see the lights, and it's like, oh, guys, we're out of time. We'll see you on Wednesday for games, or we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but I had a question formulating, or I really wanted to get into this next question, which is, this week we've been talking about, we actually took it in 2 weeks, we've been talking about prayer, which is such an important topic. So it's really, I love, when you and Clay came up, hey, we should do this. I was like, let's start ASAP, because this will give any students, of course, that are wanting to listen and opportunity. At this event, we're not doing it this time. We're just kind of describing
Yeah,
what it
this
is.
is kind of like an intro of like, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. This is the purpose of the podcast.
Yeah, but you guys can for one, after the group discussion is done, you guys can start to formulate your questions or just kind of sit with it. Then you can say, hey, Levi, hey, Andy, hey, Mike, somebody, you say, hey, I got, is there any way you guys can cover this? 'Cause I still have some questions about it.
yeah.
That'll give us time, and then we can kind of discuss it here.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. It's a great idea.
absolutely. And like, oh, I hit the mic. Sorry, Clay. Clay's our sound guy / podcast guy. He's kind of just over there. But I just bumped the mic. He's shaking his head at me. But like another thing, like on top of, don't give me the thumbs down,
You get yanked.
little turd.
You get fired after a little bit.
Yeah, like, get out of here. There's an exit sign right there. No, but like another thing that we want to touch on too is so like we want to, I think for the majority of the time right now, we're just going to address like questions that people have, trying to get
Yeah.
used to the podcast life because it's not a normal life, I guess. But like having students like send in anonymous questions and addressing them on the podcast for a while. But I think we're kind of hoping like in the future to veer towards more like addressing, like we were talking about earlier, addressing more in depth of what we discuss in youth group like,
Okay.
while we're here. So like already we're planning on that, but also like a recap of
Okay.
everything that we're going through. So like eventually we'll probably veer more towards that as well. So like once every like month and a half, do like a recap. That's not like set in stone, obviously, but eventually the goal is to get there. So that way we can have questions and then recap of what we discuss here. That way you can be in youth and be like, oh, like if you missed it, you can go back and listen to us, or if you want to go a little more in depth about it, then you can go into the recap. So, yeah.
Love it. That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah, what else then?
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else. It is typically going to just be like a conversation.
Okay.
I think that's how it's going to be structured, right? I don't know if that was
I
your.
would think so, but also I do want to like let everyone know too that any suggestions,
yes.
questions, anything like that, and honestly, I wouldn't hate it if someone came completely off topic. If it's
Yeah.
a question like, hey, I know we're talking about prayer, but I'm really struggling with addiction, or
Yeah.
I'm struggling with my faith, or something. I wouldn't hate that either, because we can cover off-topic stuff as well.
Absolutely. Or like mourning. Like I know that's not something we typically like struggle with, but like it's a big deal. Like if something tragic happens in your life, it definitely changes your
For
faith
sure.
as well. So it's definitely much more like we'd rather have that answered immediately for a student or for anyone who's listening than
Yeah.
just go off of what we have planned and ignore you. So I think we'd rather have that
Yeah.
for sure.
Or I'll have sometimes someone will come up and say, hey, I would really love to cover this topic. And it's like, that's very cool. It takes me a while to come up with like a series that covers that. So it's like, they might be struggling with something, and they might come to me and say, hey, can we cover this? And it might be, 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks even before I actually am ready to cover that. And they at that point, they might be all, hey,
It's already over.
I dealt with that on my own and it didn't go well, or.
Yeah, or like just since like you primarily teach here,
Yeah.
like that's pretty much one of your main outlets to get that like message
sure.
out. And so like you may have it planned, but no opportunity to do it. And
Yeah.
so it just leaves like another outlet for it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can be more candid. Both of us can be more candid on here. A conversation, like as someone who does like sermons and teachings, it's a lot easier to have a conversation because I can just sit here and have one. When I do prep for a sermon or a teaching, it's like I have to be prepared to talk from 10 to 20 minutes
Yeah.
without any.
back and forth.
Yeah, so it's different.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think Clay just gave us the thumbs up for everyone who just wondered that. He gave us the thumbs up. He's wondering if we're done. I think we're pretty much
I
done.
think so.
I think
Unless there's
so.
anything else you want.
Yeah, if you think we need
points
to
that we
address
missed.
anything. No, I
Awesome.
think that's good. Cool beans.
Well, listen, I'm super excited for this.
Yeah.
I'm ready to. For one, I really want to continue like with the students. Like I said, it's such an amazing thing that they're not like trying to get out of here right at 12. That
Yeah.
they're that they're wanting to get deeper, and that's just a blessing, I think.
And like the only reason some of them end up leaving at that time is because their parents are like, hey, we need to go.
And we're hungry. Come on, Junior.
Yeah, like, hey, we need food. It's Sunday. It's 12 o'clock. But
So,
yeah,
I'm super excited for this.
same.
We'll see how it goes, and I'd love to just hear from everyone, and we will see how it goes.
We will. This is the first one, so we don't know how it's going to go. But hopefully we have viewers.
Yeah. All right.
So
Peace out.
out.